Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I am 38 and a half weeks pregnant, and I am going to show you my setup for having a home birth. This will be my fourth home birth with an incredible midwife in our city. She's been such a gem, and our first home birth, if you haven't seen my birth stories, was actually an accidental home birth, and then since then we have just enjoyed that process. We've super enjoyed having our babies at home, and I've learned a lot. Each time I learn a little bit more. So I will show you what we have equipment wise prepared, what I have ready for me and baby. I'm going to go over my hospital bag in case we would need to transfer to the hospital. And as a fifth time mom, I have really trimmed down to the basics. So if that is something you're interested in, come along, let's have a look.
Hi, I'm Chanel, a former nurse, mom to 5, and homesteader alongside my husband. Through this channel and my Ready Family Guide, I help families reclaim health, joy, and purpose at home. Here you'll find natural remedies, from scratch living, and simple steps towards a healthier, more intentional life. Families today need to rise up as the gatekeepers of their homes, protecting what comes in and nurturing true wellness. You are not alone. Welcome to our home era.
So for the setup for the room, this is something that your midwife or provider may want to go over with you. We have 2 nightstands with the bed in the middle, and then right beside me here we have a chair. We have some floor space, ensuite bathroom. It's a pretty basic, pretty classic bedroom setup. My midwives, they wanted to see our room and what, space they were going to be in prior to the birth. And so that is something, if your provider does not suggest that, I would ask them if they could come or send them a video. I feel like the importance of them kind of knowing the space that you are going to be delivering in and that they will be providing care to you in is important for safety and other considerations. So we always have a plan in place for my husband's nightstand to move beside over here so that they can create a station in case the baby would need to receive very specific care. You want to have a flat, hard surface if there's any sort of care they need to give the baby. And it's not ideal on the floor if possible. So having like a station for that is great. My nightstand will be completely cleared off at the time, or mostly cleared off, for supplies as well, blood pressure cuff and Doppler for checking baby and all those sorts of things. The chair area is actually where I think I'd like to give birth this time. My last 3 births at home, I've delivered on the bed. I like being on my hands and knees and even kind of more like squatting. And I like to have a lot of pillows and support kind of on my chest. When I am in that like just about to push and pushing phase, I really want to have a lot of support against my chest. That's just something that feels really good to me. But beds are kind of squishy. And so I haven't disliked delivering on the bed. It's fine. But I really want to try having like the firmness of a floor beneath my knees, plus having like the support of a chair. So that setup I think is going to feel really good for me. My husband and I, like again, this is our 4th time doing this at home. So every time we've kind of tweaked and adapted things. And I told him, I said, I want to have a setup in front of the chair and then on the bed. So what that kind of setup looks like. For the floor, I'm going to lay down a workout mat. We have a rug already. Lay down a workout mat and then a waterproof layer. So the waterproof layer that we always purchase is just some tablecloths from the dollar store. Really easy, really cheap, and just throw away at the end of it. And then on top of that, a towel or 2, and then some of those disposable pads. These are supplies that your provider should give you a list for. We got a list several weeks ago, and I've just slowly kind of collected everything. I had a couple friends who recently had births that they dropped some stuff off for me, and then I've just purchased the odds and ends as well. If you are planning a water birth, you'll have to think about where you want to have the tub. I tried having a water birth with my third baby and I deliver so fast, it just did not happen. And I also, for myself, don't feel like a water birth is something I necessarily want. I love the idea of it, but in the moment of pushing, I really love having everybody really close, like my husband and my midwife right beside me. And I don't know, I just for myself, I don't want to be hot, and I don't know. I think that it could be amazing, but the amount of setup it requires, my deliveries are so fast. It just doesn't feel worth it to me to have that extra added layer and component. Although I feel like I'm the minority by a lot. I think most women really love water births. So please don't feel like that's wrong or anything like that. If you were like, oh my gosh, girl, you're wrong. I love my water births. I am so happy that you have that option. If I had longer labors and long deliveries, I think it would be something I would maybe be more interested in, but it just isn't something that has been kind of necessary. My belly is just like, woo woo. I don't know if you can see it over there, but anyways. So we're going to also have a setup on the bed, and the bed setup is very specific for home birth. You want to have a fitted sheet, then you want to do your waterproof layer, and then another fitted sheet, and then you'll do some towels, some pads, throwaway pads, all that. And that is going to give you kind of your cleanup will be really quick to get back into bed after you deliver and have a clean bed to lay down in. So we thankfully have 3 sets of sheets for our bed. So current set of sheets, and I am really on top of keeping our bedroom very clean right now, knowing that kind of any moment my body could shift into labor. I likely will not deliver for about another week. I've only been a week, the most I've ever been is 7 days early at 39 weeks, which is in a couple days for me, but it is likely that I'll be kind of closer to my due date. At least that's kind of how I'm feeling. Not that that necessarily means anything. It could happen at any point. So that's why I'm keeping our room really clean. I'm dusting every couple days, giving it a quick vacuum, just knowing that I want to have everything really just feels ready. Our bathroom clean, ready, that sort of thing. And then so our sheets, I have actually in the washing machine right as we speak our other sets of sheets. And so I'm just going to be continually changing them out like every couple days. This is just how I want to prepare. Do you need to do that? Not necessarily, but I like having really clean sheets. I feel like that freshness in a bed feels so inviting and welcoming for me, especially with giving birth. This is just a nesting thing. So we've had these sheets on for a couple days. I'll probably wait a couple more days and kind of change them out. Maybe every like 5 days right now, I'm probably changing them out. And then having the other fitted sheets really clean, ready to go. They're getting washed today. If for some reason I would go overdue and I'd have a day where I'm like, hey, I'm just going to wash them again. I do not like the smell of sheets that have not just sat there, and we don't use any fabric softeners or scented anything in our laundry. So they start to smell kind of just like closet pretty quick. So that's just, again, something I do. So this is the container, the tub that I got ready with all the rest of the supplies. My care providers, again, gave me a list, which I've been using for making other lists, as you see a corner missing. And this has on it kind of all the necessities that they would like to see in the room that they require. And then I have a few other things that I add on as well. And I have everything right in here. Everything is fresh, clean, ready to go. So a couple big towels, and we have a closet full of towels just outside our bedroom. So I only grab a couple, but I know that we'll probably need a couple more. My husband can just run for those. A receiving blanket, and you want to pick stuff that's not like your best stuff. Like if you have a brand new white baby blanket, don't put that in here. You can use that once baby's cuddled on your chest, dried off, everything's over. you'll want to use stuff that you're okay if it maybe gets just a little dirtier than than regular living. I've never had a stain or anything stained after giving birth. My midwives, I mentioned all of them out there, or most of them, are really good about keeping all of that stuff in a bag right away, and it goes right into the washing machine. Like your husband or your family member at the house can just wash everything right away when it's not going to be set in stains. A couple Ziploc bags. Now this is going to be for the placenta, which is going to be our responsibility to dispose of. And some people have like a tree they'll plant it with. Some people encapsulate it. I do not do that, and for a variety of reasons, but no judgment if that's what you do. That's maybe a whole nother video we need to do, is why I don't encapsulate placenta, but we will be it usually just goes in the freezer until it's garbage day, and then it goes out, and that's what we usually do. A couple garbage bags. Now behind me here, we already have a big metal garbage, and it has a bag in it. And then this one will go in a laundry hamper that we have in our closet. One for laundry, one for garbage. Because there is, like, again, the cleanup afterwards is garbage, laundry, that sort of thing. A heating pad. We are having our baby, it's November, so this is probably going to go, they'll plug it in and put it under the baby area in case they would need somewhere to put baby to help baby if they weren't, if they were needing a little bit of help with just transitioning to being a air breather and all of that sort of thing. So that'll just keep a warm spot for baby. And here are the waterproof mats. So these are, again, just tablecloths. I have 4 of them. Now this is going to be on our floor as well as in the bed. Like I mentioned, I want to have 2 stations that I can be bouncing between, or just delivering one and then go to the other, or whatever. And so we have lots of those like waterproof layers, and those are just going to go in the garbage. A big roll of paper towel. I actually have no idea what they use this for. Probably cleanup. I don't know. I don't think it's anything against me or anything. It's probably just if they would need to clean up something that's spilled on the floor or something. They're so amazing. They just like do so much afterwards, and that is just such a gift. I have these beautiful muslin towels. I'm going to link these below because these are so luxurious, 100% cotton. And this is the layer that I will have my husband or my midwife ready to go for as soon as I deliver the baby. When I deliver, like on my hands and knees like this, I will be grabbing my own baby, and then I will pull my baby to my chest. And then, if there's cord kind of around their arm or whatever, we'll unwrap, let them have their first few breaths, have a cry. We're going to check if it's a boy or a girl because we don't know. We have 4 sons, and everyone's very excited to see if this is our 5th amazing son or a first daughter. And this is the layer that I want to go right against my baby. It's soft, it feels great, and I'll be the one that'll kind of give them that first little prompt to have a breath or whatever, if I'm able. I have in the past sometimes been quite dazed after delivery, but so I have 2 of those ready to go, and these are just honestly such beautiful. They're actually hooded towels, and so you use them as hooded towels till like 2 or 3 years old even, but I've got those ready to go. A bottle of peroxide. This is going to be if there's any blood stains that get on anything. The peroxide just clears a blood stain up so fast. If you get bloody noses, or you have sons that like mine get bloody noses, or get cuts or whatever, peroxide is so good. Put it on as soon as you can, and it will bubble up, and it literally dissolves the proteins from the blood. I have a friend that gave me these bulb syringes. I've never used this at a birth. I actually think that my midwives probably already have this. I don't even know. But she just had a home birth. She dropped me off some supplies. They're sterile in packages, so I threw them in my thing. A flashlight. Now this is if they need to check for, like after you deliver, if you've got a tear or something, they need extra light in an area. They have, anyways, it's on the list. I don't think we've ever used a flashlight at a birth, but whatever. These are the disposable pads. I have lots of these. So These are going to be underneath you delivering, that sort of thing. And then a large tray. I think this is if they would need to transfer the baby, and they would put like a towel on it, and then they put the baby, and then they'd move the baby. Again, never been used, but something that they have on the list. And then we have government paperwork and a pen, and there's blood drawing supplies as well in here because I have a negative blood type and my husband has a positive blood type. We always have to check both baby and my blood right away to see if there's been any mixing. There never has, and that's a whole nother conversation about Winrow and Rogam and RH negative and all that sort of stuff. But that's just what they brought me that when the midwife came to do the home visit. So the other two supplies that we don't have in here that are on the list are an extension cord and a small heater for, like a space heater for winter births. My husband's in charge of getting those right now. He needs to bring them in. I actually don't even know which extension cord he would use. We've got some that are just, a million yards long and they're dirty garage ones. I think we have a nice one somewhere in the house that we could probably use, but he needs to find that. So anyways, that's another thing. And that's just for any of their equipment that requires that cord. And again, they have a whole setup to make it very, very safe. So that is what I have ready for the midwives. A few other things you'll want to have available, ready in your kitchen or close by for your labor and delivery. Now, I have always had very, very fast labors, like 2 hours. My last baby, my fourth baby, was about 3 hours, give or take. So I don't utilize all of these types of things, but things that you'll want to have available. Some light snacks for labor, protein snacks preferably. Your water bottle full of water, ice chips. I love to drink a big thing of red raspberry leaf tea as soon as I deliver to help my uterus clamp down and prevent bleeding. So that's something that you might want to have available too. So I will kind of just ongoing now make a big thing of red raspberry leaf tea to have in the fridge or on the counter every night in case I would go into delivery, drink it the next day, make another one, that sort of thing. Pillows, obviously our bed is covered in pillows. You want some pillows to have for support for you or for different positions your midwife may want to put you in. They have ice pack on the list, which I've never used, but if you get too hot, I guess maybe. Comfortable clothing options, which when you're in labor, you kind of just want to be mostly naked or like pretty much naked. I usually wear like a sports bra type, something really loose, like a very loose bra, or a bra and like a robe and some panties. That's kind of like what I wear when I'm in labor. And then once I get checked, my cervix is like 8 or 9 centimeters or whatever. You're about to have a baby. There's no panties anymore. And anyways, you can picture the rest of it. And baby stuff for baby, which I'm going to go over in a minute. They have on the list some different pain medications afterwards, like ibuprofen, acetaminophen, and Gravol. I've never used any of those in labor. I do not even have those in my house, and so I use homeopathy, and I'll share the ones that I have for that. Washcloths, that's actually one thing I do need to add to my little pack over there, is several washcloths, and I think I always end up having a couple in the bathroom for after I deliver. Once placenta's out, baby's nursed, usually probably about an hour to an hour and a half after I deliver, I go have a shower, and hubby does skin to skin with baby. I get all cleaned up, and then I get, my diaper set up on with my big pad and everything. The bed gets changed out, and I can get back into bed and just cuddle with my baby. They have mirror if you want to watch the birth. I, on my hands and knees, don't watch my births, and I also don't think I'm coherent enough for that. So this is not something I have worried about, to be honest. They have on the list olive oil or Vaseline for the baby's bottom. I do have like tallow cream that I make, and that's what I'm going to use for my baby. Something very specific that I remembered from my last delivery that I didn't like in the moment, but it was just everything's happening. It's not really the time to deal with it. Was that all my pillows got covered in plastic bags, and then my pillowcase went over top. And just that like crispiness of my pillows, I did not like at all. And so I said to my husband, I don't know, probably even like when I was like only halfway pregnant, I was like, I do not want crispy pillows. I don't want my pillows getting anything different on them. I use my pillows against my chest. I love having that support. I don't want any crispiness on the pillows. I am fine if something gets dirty, I'll wash a pillow. It was such a specific request. And so if you are planning a home birth, I would so encourage you to like think through some of those textures or sounds if that would bother you. There is like you can have what you want when in your home birth, right? You can have something that you do or don't do. If you'd rather give birth in your living room, or you'd rather give birth in a spare bedroom opposed to your master bedroom, or you have a big bathtub you're giving birth in, or like literally whatever. Like midwives are amazing at just following the mom, and you're going to give birth wherever you want to give birth. You can have specific requests of what you do and don't want and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm not even like a super sensory or textured person. Like that's not something that usually bothers me, but it is really elevated in your mind when you are in labor and you're delivering. And a lot of moms, we lose our voice a little bit when we're about to deliver. It's just a very unique kind of so in your body experience that it's hard to verbally express what you are and are not feeling. So thinking through some of these things ahead of time so that you can not have to think about them or try and remember to say something in delivery is just really important. And yeah, so that's a random side note, but I just want to encourage any moms out there that are like, oh, I have like this specific thought. And I know like you see birth videos and they have like twinkle lights or the room is really dark and like candles and stuff. Like those are beautiful setups to be able to deliver in. And so if that's something you want, make sure that you're preparing for that ahead of time. You've talked with your care provider, your midwives, your spouse, whoever else is going to be there. And then just obviously the environment is really important. We will be, I want to have my birth filmed, not something I'll be sharing publicly, probably. And so it's just something for my husband and I to watch. And it's just, my last birth got filmed, and I loved that. And so I'm going to be doing that this time. So we're going to have a tripod set up, something else we're just going to have in the room. And I also love having worship music on. I usually just have a phone that's on like airplane mode that has a playlist. So if that's something you are going to want to have, make your playlist ahead of time. You are not going to want to be making a playlist when you're in labor, likely, especially if you go really fast. And so having that kind of set up ahead of time, having it on even both your and your husband's phone. So if yours dies or whatever, you can at least listen to your playlist. And that's something that I'd recommend as well. In our bathroom, I have a little bundle of the pads and ice packs and all that sort of stuff set up for after I deliver for those first few days while the flow is obviously the heaviest. And so this is what I have in mind and prepared. I have soft toilet paper. Now, if I could, I would get like organic cotton or bamboo or something, but this is just like the kind of upgraded from what we normally get for toilet paper. It's just really soft because everything, obviously is sore and tender and all that. I have a good friend that gave me some of her leftover giant postpartum pads from Freedom, and so I'm excited to try those. Those are they're extra big, extra nice. There are some disposable panties and like a big, huge pad for afterwards. All of these items were given by friends who recently had babies because some of these things are like special order or they got them at the hospital. Like these ice pack pads. So these you like crack and then it gets cold, and so it's like really nice against the swollen tenderness of your perineum after you give birth. There is a tea sitz bath. So this is the a tea that you brew on the stove and then you pour it into your bath water to do like a nice sitz bath. This is so nice. The ingredients are all listed: red raspberry leaf, shepherd's purse, plantain leaf, calendula, and uva ursi. So those are all different herbs that are going to promote healing and just nice. It's going to feel so nice to the area. I have a peri bottle. This is what you fill with warm water, and you can also fill with a few other different like essential oils and things, and you will spray that on yourself when you are going to the bathroom those first few times when things are tender and swollen. I found with my babies that I had a tear and sutures with. This was really helpful. My fourth baby that I did not tear at all with, I actually didn't need this, but I've got it ready to go in case. And then I also have a friend who had some leftover spray, and this is just a herbal blend from Earth Mama. I haven't tried this one before, but she says it's her absolute favorite. So that is what I have ready to go in our bathroom. I also have a couple packs of the heavy flow and the regular flow pads, because as my flow decreases, I don't need to wear the giant ones. This is going to get me through those first few days, and then it will, first couple days, I should say, and then it will, in the past, my flow always significantly drops by about day 3 or 4, and then from there, it's just regular pads for a good while. And of course, in case your midwife doesn't tell you, you cannot use a menstrual cup or a tampon or anything. Nothing can go inside for 4 to 6 weeks, depending on your provider and how you're feeling and everything. You want to keep that area really, really clean. The body is going to obviously lose all the extra blood as your uterus shrinks back down and all of that, and nothing can go inside. So it is pads only. And then here's the fun part. This is what I have ready to go for baby. So as soon as I'm in labor, my husband will bring this into the room, or I will go get it into the room as well. We don't know what we're having, so we have our girl and boy stuff in here. But I do have a couple things for while I'm in labor. We are big fans of homeopathy. If you have not yet realized that or heard any of my homeopathy conversations, I talk about homeopathy a lot. Cauliflower is one that is great for stalled labor or labor that's not progressing or something like that. I have taken it when I'm in labor with some of my babies, some of them I didn't. I've never had stalled labor necessarily, but this is something that you can take, and it will help your body as it goes, from early labor to active labor to transition and then delivery. And then one of my all-time favorites of homeopathy for our family is arnica. We use arnica gel, we use arnica creams, I use arnica for all the things. It is a staple in our diaper bag. Arnica is incredible for trauma in the body, any sort of bruising or head trauma, or the trauma of delivery, pain, these sorts of things. And so arnica is something that I take during delivery, take during labor even too, delivery and post-delivery. It helps with swelling and bruising and just tissues that are hurting and harmed. So I love both of those. And then I have After Ease in here. Now this is the first time I've ever used this. This will be the first time. It's from Wish Garden. I'll link it below. This is a herbal blend that is for after birth contractions. I do get after birth contractions with my babies. They are not debilitating. Like, I have some friends who say the after birth contractions are worse than the labor itself. That's not my experience, although I've heard, and I'm not going to necessarily hope for that, of course, but that they can get a little more intense the more babies you have. So with this being my 5th, I may have more afterbirth contractions. I don't know, but I have a couple friends that have tried this. One said it was incredible. She hardly had any afterbirth contractions. The other one said it was less as effective for her, but she was still glad she had it. So this is actually the same bottle that both of them used. You just spritz it under your tongue, something you can share with a friend when you're done. And this is, like I said, a herbal blend for that. So I have that in there. And then I also have in here K2 drops. We do not do intramuscular or injectable vitamin K for our babies. And I actually have a lot of thoughts around vitamin K for babies. I know that there is For traumatic births, forceps births, births with a lot of bruising on the baby, vitamin K can be really important for bleeding prevention. However, I also fully believe that our Creator did not make a mistake in babies having low vitamin K. And more practitioners that I listen to are saying things like, the reason the blood is a little thinner is because the stem cells need to get to all the parts of the body. The body needs to heal after going through birth and in all the layers. And if the blood is a little bit thicker, it can't. So I don't know how I feel about that yet. I haven't done gobs of research. I do feel substantially better about giving oral vitamin K than injectable. The injection is often a mega dose, like enough for like a 200 to 300 pound person, not a 7 or 8 pound baby. And so do your research on that. Oral vitamin K, to me, checks all the boxes. They're still getting it without being a mega dose, and it's just a tiny drop under the tongue. This is the CanPrev brand, and I've used this brand with my last 4 babies and have loved it. So if my baby is not bruised and it was an easy birth, obviously there's not gonna be any forceps because we're gonna be at home. But if for some reason my baby is really bruised, I will give the vitamin K, but if not, I may not, or I may do like a really, really, really low dose. So have it in case, but I don't know. And then we have little receiving blankets, our boy and girl one. These are the copper pearl ones. I'll link that below as well. They are beautiful bamboo stretchy swaddle blankets. We have our little girl sleeper and a little boy sleeper. We have a boy and a girl hat, and then we cloth diaper. So I have my cloth diapers in here and some covers, and then underneath those I have these snappies, which is the little component that holds the diaper together on the baby. And I love using cloth diapers in those first few days, first few weeks, because you can feel immediately when they're wet, and I change the diaper right away. So I really love that. I do have a pack of disposable wipes in here. We use cloth wipes. I just want to be able to have some wipes on hand immediately for any like meconium cleanup. As soon as the baby's born and everything has settled down and, we've all caught our breath from having a baby, my husband will get the cloth wipes ready. We have wipes warmers, and I just keep that beside the bed, and one in the nursery for diaper changes. This is a wet bag, so this is where dirty diapers go, and then they get washed on wash day. And then this is just a pad for a changing pad. So that is all of our little goodies that we have in here for after birth, and all the little things. I even have a little bow here, which is adorable. Having had all sons, this sort of thing feels very exotic to me and foreign and adorable. And then, of course, we have more baby boy and baby girl clothes and blankets and stuff ready to go in the nursery. Everything's washed and ready to go. That once we know who we have that's coming or that is here, we will get that all brought in, and my husband will bring that in. In my nightstand, I have more diapers, burp cloths, and some more covers for after baby comes out. And this will end up being a baby station for the next couple months when we co-sleep and change diapers in bed and all that sort of stuff. I want to share with you what is in my hospital bag now. Now, of course, with having a home birth, this is a backup. This is if something does not go as planned and me or baby needs medical attention, and we have to go to the hospital, that is what this bag is for. So this is probably going to look different than a hospital bag for a mom planning a hospital birth, because mine is just like the bare necessities basically. But I'll share it with you anyways, and hopefully you can glean kind of from that. And again, this is my 5th baby, so the amount of things that I need are very much reduced from my 1st or 2nd baby. I had much more, special pillows and special whatever, lots of things. So an empty water bottle that we can fill up when we're there. I grabbed a shirt for my husband because, a fresh, clean shirt for him. And then also, underwear for both of us. Pretty standard. Some comfy pants that I can go home in. Some toiletries. Now, this is, again, the bare minimum. I've got hairbrush, lotion, toothpaste, toothbrush for each of us,
a bit of face wash, face cream, deodorant, bare minimum. If I have to be in the hospital for more than a day, someone else could bring me something if I need to. Oh, lip balm's also in there. I didn't mention that, lip balm. I have some pajamas for myself. For baby, we have a blanket, husband's deodorant. I've got a sweater and some pajama pants for me and a nursing bra, a cotton nursing bra. I'll link that one below because that's a really good brand. Some socks for myself, hospital floors and things. I want socks. I have some sleepers for baby. I have a couple boy sleepers and a couple girl sleepers. We have our one child that we had at the hospital blew out like as soon as we put them in their sleeper, so we needed two. So I remembered that and I was like, we're gonna bring two of each, but we don't know if we're having a boy or a girl. And then what else? Oh, reusable breast pads that I have that I got made years ago. So that is really helpful because I do leak a little bit for the first couple weeks when I have a baby. And then I have a note beside my bag of what else we would need to grab. So from that other basket, we would grab the homeopathics, grab a couple other baby items. I figure that there's probably some like the little hats maybe, the vitamin K and the After Ease, oral vitamin K and After Ease. Those are the items that we would need to grab from the other basket. So this is again, just bare minimum. I'm not bringing any fancy pillows. We would probably actually need to grab like a phone charger, but even then that's something we would like, someone else could bring, or we would go home and get, like hubby could go home and get or whatever. I don't have any snacks in here. I don't have any pads or anything like that. The hospital would have that if I needed it. So it's just, again, this is just a backup if we need to go bag and just the bare minimums. Thanks so much for watching this. I would love if you would hit that subscribe button, like or comment. All of those things support our channel. We are new to YouTube and we have so much we want to share with more families. And the more comments and likes and subscribers, all of that helps our channel boost on the algorithm. So if you could do one of those things, that'd be so helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you have anything that you want a link for or you're not sure about, please ask. I'd love to answer that for you. And if you are like me and you're going to have a baby soon, congratulations. I hope it goes so smoothly for you. I'm sure it will. Peace be with you. Be blessed. Bye for now.